Watch this. One small forearm adjustment is the difference between dumping every loop into the net and clearing it with power. Today we're tackling one of the most common problems in table tennis, how to loop against backspin without dumping the ball into the net. The key is the forearm forward push. Watch, I take the same swing on two balls. The first one drops straight into the net. The second one, because the ball carries heavy backspin, I have to push forward and lift it over. See the difference? My forearm drives forward through contact. Now watch without that forward push. The ball dies into the net every time. It's too short, no forward momentum at all. First ball, straight into the net. Second ball, forearm pushes forward and it clears. Without that forward force, there's nothing carrying the ball over. So when you're dealing with any ball that has backspin, your entire body and your arm needs self-initiated forward force, pushing through the ball. You need to generate your own forward force, push forward, drive through the ball. If you don't push forward, you get what I just showed you. Watch, the ball drops straight into the net. It will always go into the net. A lot of amateur players feel the heavy backspin and instinctively pull back, staying too far from the ball, afraid to commit forward. Here's the thing about heavy backspin. The more spin it carries, the less it travels forward. It actually wants to come back toward you. Watch, I'll show you a backspin serve. See how the ball barely moves forward? It kicks back. A long ball with heavy backspin works the same way. It just bounces off the table first and then pulls back. So we need to supply our own forward drive to push through that spin, press into the ball, and brush upward at the same time. Your hand must drive forward. Watch, the hand pushes forward. Only then can I loop this ball over. Otherwise, if you just try to brush upward, and I know 90% of you have run into this, you can't grip the ball with friction alone. You simply can't hold it. So when a flat, heavy backspin ball comes your way and you want to loop it, your arm has to push forward, your body has to press forward. Stay close to the ball, don't leave too much distance. If you complete your stroke too early, and only then make contact, the ball will almost certainly dump into the net. Get close, and use your own active force to lift that backspin ball up and over. Now, can you push this ball back with a simple push stroke? No, and most of you already know the answer. Let me try a push to show you why. See, you can technically get it back, but the risk is enormous. The margin for error is tiny, so forget about pushing against this kind of serve. Just take that option off the table entirely. However, if you have good touch, good hand skill, there is another option. You can chop down on it, a sharp downward chop right at the ball. Let me demonstrate. My partner sends one over, and I'll show you what this chop receive looks like. Can you take the ball early here? Yes, you can. Now my partner chops one back, that's heavy backspin. The thing is, if you only chop back every time, the rally becomes low percentage for you. You really have two options, either chop it back or commit to an attack. Some penhold players serve this ball extremely well and force you into an awkward forehand position. That's a deliberate tactic. They angle the ball so your loop goes exactly where they want it. A regular push won't work here. If you just push forward, the ball either drops off the bottom of your racket or flies long. You simply can't control the force. So let me show you how the chop receive works. The key is catching the ball on the rise. You must intercept it early at the top of the bounce and then drive your hand downward. My partner sends a slower one first. Watch the feeling, see that? Rising ball, catch it high, chop straight down. From above, downward. There has to be a downward component to your force, a combined downward angle in the stroke. I think penhold grip actually makes this easier to execute. Watch again. Now at full speed, the ball comes in and I catch it on the rise, chopping straight down. If this serve keeps giving you trouble, just pick the ball up early and chop downward. Who generates the force here? You do, it's all self-initiated, speed it up a little. There, nice sharp chop. Now here's the critical detail about this stroke. You catch the rising ball, lift the racket up and drive downward. Do not push forward. The moment you add any forward force, the ball flies long. It will sail off the end of the table every time. The power comes from the wrist, not the fingers. Wrist generates the snap. My partner sends another one, see, any forward motion and it's immediately long. You have to stay in place and chop straight down. Watch, stay in place, catch the rising ball, chop down. Every time, the instant I add even a little forward push, the ball flies off. This technique tests two things. Can you catch the ball on the rise and can you chop purely downward? That's what makes it work. Let's start with the basic drive. For a forehand drive, the racket head points to 10 o'clock. If you let it drop to 9 o'clock, the ball will go into the net every time. Watch, I'll show you. 9 o'clock on the racket head, guaranteed net ball. You must keep it at 10 o'clock. That's the first key point. The second key point, use your forearm to create the arc. The wrist stays still. That's your basic drive. Watch, my partner sends one over. I use my forearm to generate the curve, forearm only. See that? Aim a little higher or push a little more forward, but it's the forearm creating the arc. Whatever you do, don't half hit, half push. That wishy-washy contact is the most frustrating mistake. Commit to one thing. That uncommitted contact is the worst habit. What happens is you're half hitting and your wrist is wobbling, so you lose control. Lock the racket head at 10 o'clock from start to finish. Don't let it waver, and let the forearm create the arc. Push forward or lift upward, the forearm does the work. That's the best foundation for receiving serve. Now, for a basic drive, we don't add extra spin, that's correct. It's a fundamental stroke. Every situation calls for a different variation built on top of that foundation. For blocking, I use this shape. For receiving serve, this shape. For ripping, this shape. For looping, this shape. Each ball demands its own adjustment. You can't solve every ball with one basic drive shape. Different situations need different techniques. Now, the rip is different. For a rip, the racket head points to 7 o'clock. Why? Because the incoming ball carries heavy spin, so you can't start your backswing toward 9 o'clock. Watch, my partner sends one. If I try to rip it using a topspin drive shape, I'll dump it into the net. I've tested this many times. So what do I do? Whenever the ball comes to my backhand with real spin on it, my racket head always starts at 7 o'clock. Even over the table, it can still point to 7. From 7 o'clock, I rotate the racket head through contact, because a rip is fundamentally about that racket head rotation. Watch the receive now. 7 o'clock, start there, swing from there. See how smooth that is? It flows naturally when you commit to 7 o'clock from the beginning. Don't start anywhere else. My partner serves again. Watch where the racket head begins. See that? Starting wrong still dumps it into the net. And if you try to treat it like a loop and swing big, the ball flies long. Here's the principle. No matter what spin your opponent puts on the ball, your backhand racket head points to 7 o'clock. That never changes. What changes is where you set up. If the serve isn't very heavy, I set up at 7 o'clock above the table. If it's loaded with spin, I drop below the table to 7 o'clock. Watch, my partner serves that same ball. 7 o'clock, I rotate through. Again, 7 o'clock, rotate through. Now a side spin backspin serve. I drop the racket head lower, still at 7 o'clock, and rotate up through the ball. That's the secret to getting this ball on the table. If you treat a heavy, sinking ball like a normal topspin rip, it still drops into the net, because the ball comes fast, and some players use a compact, snapping force that packs real spin and weight into it. Sometimes you genuinely can't tell how much rotation is on the ball. So my answer is, make sure I give it enough friction. Overspin it if you have to. A ball with extra topspin won't fly off the end, it curves down. But if you underspin it and try a flat rip, the ball sails long every time.
因为上一球你不可能掉腕去撕，那不全出界了吗？是吧？你肯